Let me tell you something most people never admit out loud. The exhaustion you feel isn't from caring too much. It's from believing you're only valuable when someone needs you. If that landed somewhere deep, you're not broken. You're just living out a pattern that made sense once, even if it's quietly draining you now. There's something fascinating about people who can read a room in seconds. You notice when someone's smile doesn't reach their eyes. You show up for everyone else's crisis but somehow never have time for your own. You're the friend people call at 2 a.m, the one who remembers everyone's birthday but forgets to eat lunch. The person who gives advice you'd never think to take yourself. And here's the part no one talks about. This isn't just kindness. It's a survival strategy you learned so early, you forgot you were even doing it. There's something underneath all of this that most people miss. Something about why you do it, what it costs, and what it's been quietly protecting you from all along. So here's a question that might stay with you. If you stopped saving everyone else, what would you have to face about yourself? You walk into a room and within minutes you've mapped everyone's emotional state. Who's uncomfortable, who's pretending, who needs someone to notice them. It's not a conscious scan. It just happens, like breathing. Other people call this empathy. For you, it feels more like a radar you can't turn off. You learned early that your safety depended on reading the room. Maybe it was a parent whose mood determined the whole house. Maybe it was an unstable home where you became the emotional stabilizer. Maybe someone you loved was suffering, and the only control you had was to fix it, anticipate it, prevent it. So you got good at it. Really good. But when you spend your childhood learning to manage other people's emotions, you never learn to trust your own. You become so fluent in everyone else's needs that you'll start to feel secondary, optional, like background noise you've trained yourself to ignore. You're talking to someone and they mention they're stressed about work. Before they finish the sentence, you're already thinking of solutions, people who could help, things they should try. Meanwhile, you haven't processed that you're also stressed, that you also need help, that maybe this conversation could have been about you. You don't do this because you're selfless. You do it because it feels safer than being seen. Here's a quiet truth people like you rarely say out loud. You're not always sure people would stay if you stopped being useful. It's not that you think you're unlovable. It's that love, for you, has always come with a job description. You were the helpful one, the reliable one, the one who made things easier. Somewhere along the way you started to believe that's why people kept you around, so you keep proving it. You over-prepare, you overextend. You say yes when your body's screaming no, because saying no feels like giving someone a reason to leave. This isn't generosity, it's insurance. And the cost is subtle but heavy. You build relationships where people love what you do for them, but you're never quite sure if they love you. The version of you that's tired, the version that doesn't have answers, the version that needs someone to show up. Someone thanks you for helping them, and instead of feeling good, you feel a strange emptiness. A quiet question forms in the back of your mind. Would they have reached out if they didn't need something? Would they have remembered you at all? You're not paranoid. You're just tired of being a solution instead of a person. When someone tries to help you, something in you tightens. You smile. You deflect. You say, "I'm fine," even when you're not. You say, "I've got it," even when you're exhausted. When someone asks what you need, your mind goes blank because you genuinely don't know what you're allowed to want. It looks like independence, but often it's self-protection. Because letting people help you means letting them see you, the messy parts, the uncertain parts, the parts that might disappoint them. And if they see that, they might leave. Or worse, they might confirm what you've quietly feared all along, that you're only valuable when you're strong, capable, and needed. So you stay in control, you stay useful, you stay on the giving side of every relationship because it's the only side where you feel safe. But refusing help isn't protecting you, it's isolating you. You carry other people's problems like they're your own. A friend's breakup becomes your emotional research project. A co-worker's stress lives in your chest for days. Someone's offhand comment about their health keeps you awake at night, trying to fix something that was never yours to fix. Sometimes, it's easier to focus on someone else's crisis than to sit with your own. Their problems have clear edges, clear solutions, clear ways to help. Yours feel blurry, uncomfortable, tangled up with feelings you were never taught how to hold. So you become an expert in everyone else's life. You know their patterns, their triggers, their histories. You could explain exactly why they are the way they are. But when someone asks about you, you don't know where to start. This isn't avoidance, it's a coping mechanism. Focusing on others once gave you purpose, distraction, and relief from emotions that felt too big to handle. But borrowed crises don't heal your own, they just postpone them. People think you're strong because you never fall apart in front of them. You're calm in chaos, steady when everything's burning. The one people lean on because you never seem to need anything. But that isn't strength, it's survival in disguise. Real strength isn't the absence of need, it's the courage to admit you have needs at all. You learn to perform stability because instability wasn't safe. Maybe showing emotion was dismissed. Maybe it was punished. Maybe someone else's breakdown always took priority over yours. Maybe you were the oldest child, the only adult in the room, the one who had to hold it together because no one else could. So you did, and you got so good at it that even now, you're not sure how to stop. You're having a hard day and someone asks if you're okay. You say, "Yeah, just tired," with a smile, because saying anything else feels like breaking character, like admitting you're not who they thought you were. And after a while, you forget who you are underneath the performance. When you do something for yourself, guilt follows. You rest, and your mind fills with all the ways you could have been useful. You say no, and you replay the decision over and over. You set a boundary, and it feels like you've betrayed someone, even when you haven't. This is what happens when you grow up believing your needs are selfish. Guilt becomes your compass. The voice that tells you whether you're good or bad, worthy or selfish, safe or at risk of being abandoned. But guilt isn't always truth. Sometimes it's just an old alarm system, reacting to change because change once meant danger. You're not guilty for resting. You're not guilty for having limits. You're not guilty for being human. You've just been taught in 1,000 invisible ways that your existence is only justified when you're in service to someone else. Let's go a little deeper. You didn't choose this. You adapted. You survived. You made sense of a world that didn't feel safe by becoming indispensable. And for a long time it worked. But the thing that protected you is now the thing that's trapping you. You've built a life where your value is tied to your output, where love feels conditional, where rest feels like failure. The people around you have gotten used to a version of you that never needs anything, never struggles, never stops. So when you do need something, it feels embarrassing, foreign, like you're failing at the one thing you were supposed to be good at. And the loneliest part is this. You're surrounded by people, but few of them really know you. They know the version of you that shows up for them, not the version that's scared, tired, or unsure. You've spent so long being the answer that you forgot you're allowed to be the question. This pattern didn't come from nowhere. It came from love. You saw someone you cared about struggling and you couldn't fix it, so you learned to fix everything else. You felt powerless once, so you became the person who never lets anyone else feel that way. You were ignored, so you became the person who notices everything. That isn't a flaw, it's something to honor, but it's also something you're allowed to outgrow. You don't owe the world your exhaustion. You don't owe anyone your silence. You don't owe your nervous system a lifetime of hypervigilance just because it kept you safe once. You are not just what you do for other people. You're not only the safety net, the solution, the strong one. You're also the person who's been quietly carrying a weight no one asked you to carry. And that person deserves the same care you've been giving away so freely. This doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you start including yourself in the circle of people worth caring about. So if this felt familiar, let this stay with you. You are allowed to be loved, not just needed. You are allowed to be imperfect, not just strong. You are allowed to receive care without earning it first. You're allowed to matter, even when you're not doing anything for anyone. And maybe, just for today, when someone asks if you're okay, try telling the truth, even a little. You might be surprised by who stays,